used to rule the world. Seas would rise when I gave the word. Now in the morning I sleep alone. Sweep the streets I used to own. And I used to roll the dice, feel the fear in my enemy's eyes. Listen as a crowd would sing. Now the old king is dead, long live the king. The minute I held the key, next the walls were closed on me, and I discovered my castle stand upon pillars of stone and pillars of sand. Now here Jerusalem bells are ringing, Roman cavalry choirs are singing. Be my mirror, my sword and shield, my missionaries in a foreign field. For some reason I can't explain, I know St. Peter won't call my name. Never an honest word, that was when I ruled the world. Was the wicked and wild wind blew down the doors to let me in, shattered windows and the sound of drums. People couldn't believe what I'd become. Revolutionaries waving through my head on a silver plate. I'm just a puppet on a lonely string. Now who would ever want to be king? Now here Jerusalem bells are ringing, a Roman cavalry choirs are singing. Be my mirror, my sword and shield, my missionaries in a foreign field. For some reason I can't explain, I know St. Peter won't call my name. Never an honest word, that was when I ruled the world. Here Jerusalem bells are ringing, Roman cavalry choirs are singing. Be my mirror, my sword and shield, my missionaries in a foreign field. For some reason I can't explain, I know St. Peter won't call my name. Never an honest word, that was when I ruled the world.
Well, there were other people here, and now it's just me. I was going to talk about the intro. I happened to find that it was a much shorter piece of that clip. It was like the last minute and a half or so, and it was just the him riding around in the car waving, which was really cool. I thought, anyway. My kids say I'm a Nazi, so maybe I'm alone in that. That is from a movie from 2015 called Look Who's Back. Or trying to remember the German pronunciation of it. I don't speak German, so obviously I'm not going to. I would butcher it if I. Let's see. Well, oh, there's Quiet Clyde. Did you happen to catch the intro?
Yeah, it was wonderful.
That's a no.
However.
I found that and
What
ran
was
that. It's like a 4.5 minute trailer from the movie Look Who's Back about Hitler waking up in the 20-teens.
Okay.
Looks like a pretty interesting movie, actually. I need to watch it.
When was it released? I guess
2015.
Wow. Was it like a like an indie film or something? Like
I guess so. I think it was like a German film, but it's
it would be a German film.
Er ist will da is the name of the movie.
There's a lot of poop.
I need to see if I can find it somewhere because I would really like to watch it. It looks like it's Adolf Hitler wakes up in Berlin in 2014, and then he goes on to like have a somewhat normal life. Looks like it would be pretty interesting. We should probably do a screening of that.
How's my mic? Is it any louder?
Yes, you're better today. There's a little. It looks like there's a Spider-Man glove coming through on the
volume thing on the back of my mic. I wonder if
if you were as loud as him, we wouldn't have any problems.
I'm just not a very loud kind of guy.
You know, the most upsetting thing about this is that intro was entirely from Mark, and his ass didn't even hear. He says,
well, that's why I figured. Well, he always does, but I figured that was like, he's like a shoo-in on Monday. Apparently,
normally yes, but here we are.
Labor Day, he gets the day off. He thinks he gets the day off from everything. How about that?
Oh shit, we've got an actual Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Not just a spider glove. That's cultural appropriation, I believe.
Why? What kind?
That's the Miles Morales Spider-Man. Is your kid black and Hispanic?
Not quite. We're halfway there though.
Black.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's okay, right?
Yeah. I mean, I've got a black kid, so it's fine.
Well, no, I mean not the kid, but the appropriation part of it.
Oh. Yep, perfectly acceptable.
Yeah.
Well, I figured that was a good intro to run anyway, since we can continue to piggyback off of Biden's speech last week. And then the speech
Did we talk about it?
Huh?
Did we talk about it?
We talked about it. I mean,
I can't remember when it was, or like,
Yeah, it was Thursday night, so.
Okay, so we had it on Friday. Okay.
I feel like I was in the truck Friday.
Yeah, you're always in the truck, dude.
This week,
I'm starting to wonder if you don't live in the truck. Like, if that's like, your new home, and this is just
week,
like a green screen.
Yeah, no, nothing. None of this is actually back there. It's all an elaborate plan to make y'all believe that I have a home. Actually, you know what? I'm very proud of this, so I'm just going to pull it up since you're questioning my home. We have been working really hard on this place.
I thought it was you.
Yes, well, mostly. Don't say that out loud. So this is.
Sorry. I thought I was muted at the time. Apparently.
This is a month and a half ago when we were doing the demo on the place.
Who is that? You?
Yes, that's me. In all of my dad bod glory.
You look like a zombie or something.
Something like that. So here we are demoing it out. And this is pictures from today.
Ooh. Did you do? Is that all new rock?
Yes.
You put all new sheetrock. Did you do all the taping and stuff, or?
Yes.
Oof, that sucks.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Well, that's cool. Is the floor new or is that old floor?
No, new floor, and I put in new floors, new sheetrock, all the trim, everything.
Well, I didn't know if the floor was like old wood that you refinished kind of deal.
No, I have suspicions that somewhere underneath there is like nice old wood, but
it ain't.
It
ain't worth pulling it all.
Yeah, there's too much
pulling it up and not finding it.
That's what I was worried about.
Yeah.
That's the big thing I was scared of. Like I didn't want to start pulling it up and then it not be there.
Yeah.
I had reasonable suspicion that it is there because there's what used to be the little closet in what's now the girls' room. It had some nice looking floors underneath the carpet and stuff, but it was all rotting out. So I had to redo all of that anyway. So that was kind of what I was worried about. Is like if I start pulling all this shit up, am I going to find it in that condition? Like I'll just leave it alone and put new stuff down. So anyway,
I hear you. We were in Vermont. And they had carpet. They put carpet down. I don't know why. We pulled it up and it was like all just old pine boards that are like 8 inches wide. And of course, I had to go get the floor sander and sand the crap out of everything. It's got glue and all sorts of nasty all over it. But they turned out, they look good. It wasn't pine. What was it? Was it spruce maybe? I don't know. There was something different. They're big. Hemlock. It was hemlock. I can't remember. It was one of those coniferous trees from up north. Get off.
well, okay. Let's see.
Did you get the video of the stingrays?
Can we not?
Speaking of elective surgeries, no, go. You're not allowed to see this.
What? That's an elective surgery? Like somebody deliberately did that?
I don't know. If you look at the one girl's face, I don't think anybody could actually. I don't think that's real. I don't think that's real. I think that's like totally like.
All right, I had to see it, so everybody else has to see it. Let's just go ahead and traumatize everybody this morning. Yeah, show the kid too. Everybody gets to experience this trauma.
I like a fat ass and thighs. Bitch on y'all cold water, cut the stove on, straight to side.
They didn't have the audio on.
Cold water, cut the stove on, straight to
like the blonde one's face looks pretty like surgeryed up. She's got like the duck.
Lots of Botox going on there.
Yeah, so I kind of wonder like how much of that is, That's none of that can be real. That's not possible.
Welcome, Mark. We found your potential girlfriends. Which one of them do you like better here? You gotta
cold water, cut the stove on, straight to side, bitch. You can keep the skinny bitch because I like a fat ass and thighs.
I don't want to.
Cold water, cut.
No,
they're both fights.
Yeah,
you can saddle a good yoke on those.
Yeah, but look at them. You can tell they're something. You can tell they're soft. They can't actually pull anything. That's all for show. There's no.
Clyde have his kids tied up in the background.
Probably.
He's free reign right now.
I know, Facebook user. Whoever you are.
That's probably Craig Smelt. He's the only one that gets on Facebook, comments on the show, and doesn't actually include his name.
That's probably the smart thing to do.
Probably.
But my friend, well, not my friend, my friend's friend is probably down in my living room right now watching the show, scoping me out, if you know what I mean.
What is somebody have a straws like
Down in my living room right now watching the show,
Shit.
scoping me out. Wow, I'm never doing a show again. Is that really how I sound?
What is going on?
That is exactly how you sound. Sorry, it's I was trying to see who's commenting. It's Corey. Usually Corey is set up through StreamYard where we can see his name, but
It's got like a washing machine going on in there.
Oh, is it? Oh, that's my.
Does nobody else hear that?
Can you hear that?
Yeah. Is that a washing machine?
No, that's my coffee machine. Close, Clyde.
Oh,
Close,
okay.
but
It's loud.
usually Mark has a cricket. Where's the cricket?
do I?
Where's
Dip
your
in the
cricket?
chocolate.
Usually I can hear a cricket whenever it's just me and you, there's a cricket in the background. And if I mute you, then it goes away. So it has to be coming from you.
This is
Now it
the
just
first
sounds
you're
like
bringing
toilet
this up.
flushing.
Um,
No, he's talked about the cricket before. I know.
I'm
that.
almost
I've
positive
heard
I mentioned the
like,
cricket
I'm-
before.
yeah.
I don't have it in my room, but might be right outside the window there.
The Jiminy
That's
cricket.
a loud cricket, though.
That's it. That's your conscience. Are you almost a real boy?
Almost there.
Hmm.
You notice
Well-
my nose stopped growing.
There's a couple things he's got to do first.
Speaking of real things, Chile almost got to have a real socialism, but then they said no. Did y'all see this?
I only saw like breaking news. Chile votes against the new constitution or whatever. What would the new constitution have been?
Mhm.
It was the progressive democratic socialist wet dream. Free healthcare for all, free school for all. It was going to make I can't remember how many, it was like 11 different indigenous groups were going to gain all kinds of new rights and stuff. It was going to have a bunch of trans and diversity inclusion. It was everything. If
They were writing trannies into the constitution.
damn right they were. If AOC and the progressive left got a hold of our constitution and completely rewrote the thing, this is exactly what they would create.
That's what
And
it
so,
looked like.
go ahead. Not you.
No, I didn't
the
read it.
adult. So several years ago, the country decided that they needed a new constitution because the current constitution is the one that was put in place under Pinochet. And
It's my
they
guy.
decided, yeah, great guy. But they decided they needed a new one. So, and they elected, I think it was last year, they elected this 36-year-old hipster as their new president. And so hipster and the progressive Chilean government put together this new constitution, and it went to a vote, and it got shot down. 63%, I think, voted against it, and there were even different parts or different articles and coverage of it that were talking about how a lot of people who had originally said we need a new constitution, after they presented this one, they're like, never mind, maybe we don't actually need a new constitution. Maybe we should just stick with the original one. This was a bad idea.
So they attacked democracy by using a democracy, basically.
Yes, this is a failure of democracy. Democracy is now dead in Chile because they democratically chose not to have this new constitution.
Go ahead and get it out.
It's
Clyde.
the comments are no. It's just if you So I followed it on the Twitter link that Justin sent, but it was kind of amusing to see some of the comments, about people like voting against themselves and being tricked by the elite to
that old line.
vote against their own rights. And there's some praise of MMT in there, and I was just, what the hell's going on?
Oh wow.
Full of retards.
We're not into the show 20 minutes in.
I worked with a Chilean guy, and he was like in his 40s, so he lived as a kid under Pinochet. And he talked about Pinochet like he hated him, his parents hated him, but this dude was one step removed from gay, so it kind of made sense.
What?
He was the helicopter guy, right?
Yeah.
What is one step removed from gay? Like, he,
like an
he
anti-racist
gives, but he doesn't
male, I guess.
receive, or what?
Well, nothing sexual. I don't know. I wasn't really into his sex life, but
Supposedly.
I never really asked.
Yeah, sure.
He was married to a woman.
It's okay.
The thing is, he was
This
married
is a
to
safe space, Mark.
he was married to a Mexican woman, so he also hated Trump, but he hated Trump more than he hated his Mexican wife. Or he hated Trump more than his Mexican wife hated Trump.
I would say I would hope he hated Trump more than he hated his wife. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know how that relationship works. If he is actually gay, then maybe he did.
Now it's about the time Carlos pops in. Like the place in. Okay.
What? Oh, goodness gracious. No idea.
Well, speaking of Trump, did y'all see this beautiful headline? All of those like folders and stuff that they laid out for that big photo shoot to show everything that they confiscated from Trump's house, all the classified documents. It was just a bunch of empty folders.
Are they trying to be funny with the headline, or all the empty classified folders? What was in them?
I think USA Today. So the way this is being spun by the mainstream leftist media is that the reason all these folders were empty is because he did something with the documents. Where did the documents go?
Sold them.
Yeah.
Oh.
I remember this has been out for a little while that they were empty. I mean, this was like last week. It was out there, and like did he really? Does anyone honestly believe that like he stole classified documents, kept them in his safe at Mar-a-Lago, stole the documents, and like held on to the folders? Like, it's just like so he can show his grandkids, I remember this time I stole these documents. Like, what? Like, this is like, what? Why would you hold on to that? Like, it's absolutely just, I mean, or why? Who are you gonna give like some Saudi prince like 40 pages of loose leaf? Like, put them in the folder for the guy. Is it like you got to pay extra for the folder? Like, I don't know.
He said right after the raid, the FBI had been there within the last like month and a half and had changed the locks on the room where all this stuff was and had like been doing stuff with the things that were there. Like, did they already take everything that he didn't need to have? And so the whole thing was just a big like setup. I mean, obviously the whole thing was a big setup, but it just seems way too goofy.
No, it's one of those things, man. But it's
You
not
really
one of those
sold
things.
them.
It's just like who believes this anymore? Like, there's no trust. Any trust that they once had is now gone, and they just keep eroding it again and again and again.
You sold them to
go.
Putin.
Probably so. Speaking of Putin,
How to attack Ukraine, written in Quran. He sells them to Putin.
Speaking of Putin, we are just banging through topics today. We might actually get to wrap up early. No, that's not going to happen. We don't do that.
He sounded excited about the potential of doing that, though.
Wrap it up.
Russia switches off Europe's main gas pipeline until sanctions are lifted.
Michael.
Surprise.
Well, I saw a video of a bunch of Ukrainians dancing. Was that true?
Yes.
Did you see this?
Yes.
Let me just end this stupid war.
It's not real. It's not real. There's no war. It's just a
It's,
money laundering scheme.
It's the war before the real war. Is that what it is?
I'm convinced. Yeah, I don't know.
I doubt there's
I'll see you fellas on Wednesday.
That's the cricket.
Did he just say he'll see us on Wednesday?
I don't know. Apparently.
He's having child trouble.
Are we sure we'll see him on Wednesday?
Maybe. Yeah, so maybe I'm pretty sure that there is a war going on, at least in part of Russia. I don't think part of Ukraine. I don't think it's going on.
You've already announced yourself as pro-Russia, and that's why they're attacking. So you could say Russia. It would align with your values.
It would. Yeah, I mean, well, it is Russia. Donbass, it belongs to Russia.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So anyway, this was getting retweeted. The tweet with this headline and everything was getting retweeted, and everybody was acting like this is all Putin's fault. Like Putin's the bad guy in this. What the fuck is wrong with these people? Like, what did they expect was going to happen? Like,
well, Trump told them this was going to happen a few years ago.
We ran that clip one day last week, where he was talking about how Germany was too reliant on Russian oil and gas, and they all laughed. Yeah, they all laughed at him, and now Putin is turning off their oil and gas, except for there were a handful of countries that he said you either pay in rubles or you don't get anything, and like the UN and NATO were like, we're not going to do it. You're not paying him. You're not going to do it. And I think it might have been Finland and a couple others were like,
Hungary, maybe?
Huh?
Hungary?
Might have been. But they were like, we got to keep the lights on, so fuck you. If he says we pay in rubles, we pay in rubles. So like, we're not. In fact, I think it was the prime minister of one of those countries when he was like giving a press conference or something, and they asked him about it, and he said, if we have to pay in rubles, we pay in rubles. The lights stay on. We're not going to put our people out of power because of a proxy war that's being fought between America and Russia. Ballsy move there, buddy.
Someone did make the joke recently about the two European countries that won't starve this winter are Hungary, which is ironic, and Switzerland, because they have the Swiss cheese. So maybe it's Switzerland and Hungary. But Sweden sounds like they might.
I think Sweden may have. Yeah. Sweden and Finland are both like really close to Russia anyway. So.
Yeah. One of those Scandinavian countries. I get mixed up with the order. I was usually pretty good at geography, like looking at a map and saying which country is which. But like when you had those three in a row, I struggled which one was which.
Finland is the one that's closest to Russia.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure Sweden is the one that's the furthest from Russia. And then I guess
we got Norway.
Yeah, squeezed in the middle. I think that's right. You know, I did an entire episode talking about Finland and the Nazis and Russia and World War II. So you would think after doing like an hour and a half of staring at a map of that part of the world, I would remember. But
it's a forgettable part of the world.
I haven't slept since then, so it's just gone. You know.
Did I say on this, since we talked about Chile today, I do remember at geometry class, I made fun of my friend for calling it Chile. I was like, dude, it's Chile.
Geometry?
Not geometry, geography. Did I say geometry earlier?
You said geometry now. I don't know what you said earlier.
So now I just got corrected again. Dude, it's not geometry, it's geography. No, I called Chile Chile for the longest time.
Child?
Yeah. It reads that way.
I guess I could see that. Let's see. There's another, speaking of that part of the world, there's another part of that part of the world that's going to be experiencing some problems this winter. Oh, you can't even see that. It's too small.
What happened with the situation with their prime minister?
France.
He stepped down, didn't he?
He resigned. I think he's being replaced in. I think it was similar to like Boris Johnson. He resigned and he'll officially step down when they replace him, and which I think they're replacing him. Might be this month actually. I know it was like before the end of the year, but I can't remember exactly when. But anyway, in order to conserve energy this winter, the French government is suggesting that they shut down the trains.
So they're just going to be locked in their houses again, because isn't that their main mode of transportation?
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, it's pretty batshit. Well, and I mean, this goes along with California is about 2035 no more gas powered vehicles in California, and everything has to be electric. But at the same time, they're putting out public service announcements for people not to charge their electric vehicles because the power grid can't handle it. Like that was for real. Those are for real headlines. Like California is outlawing gas powered vehicles, and
by 2030 something, right?
Yeah, I think it was 2035, but I can't remember. But they're also putting out announcements for people to not charge their electric cars because the power grid can't handle it.
You really think about it, the Amish are really based. They saw all of this ahead of time, so like we're going to prepare for what stupid humans are going to eventually do. That way, when they say we can't have gas-powered vehicles, they'd be like, "Wow, we've been driving our horses around this entire time."
It's just, did we talk about the thermostats in Colorado that?
What was that? What was it? 78.
Yeah,
that's pretty hot.
I mean, I keep the house between 75 and 78. It's not that hot.
Do you?
Yeah. I work in a non-climate controlled warehouse, and I have for most of my professional career. Like for that not quite a year that I worked at Lowe's, it's the only time in my professional career that I've had air conditioning consistently. The rest of the time I've been either outdoors or in a warehouse that's actually hotter than it is outside. So like I would come home and the kids would turn the air conditioner down to like 70, and I come in and freeze my balls off. And I was like, nobody touches it. It stays at 75 at a minimum, preferably 78. Like I can't handle it this fucking cold. Y'all are gonna kill me. And then everybody's mad at me. My kids are like, it's just because you work in a hot warehouse. I'm like, well, y'all need to spend more time outside. Bunch of pussy little fuckers.
Yes. You should lock them outside.
I have done that.
That's what my dad used to do to us in the summer.
One day
the fall.
One day I kicked them all out, locked the doors. I told them, I don't want to see you for 3 hours. I don't care where you go or what you do. Just don't come back. And nobody died or got hurt. So it worked out.
3 days later, they come limping in. The boxcar children.
This is pretty nuts. Yeah. Why would you opt into the thermostat being controlled by the power company? It's the same as putting, I know for a fact we've talked about this. It's the same as like putting Alexa or Google Home or whatever in your, like willingly putting it in your house. That's just asking for nothing good.
Do you ever get the emergency alerts on your phone when it's too cold outside and it's the government asking you to keep your thermostat like, I think it's like 68 or below, or 66 or below?
No, we don't live in.
Yeah, I mean,
we don't live in communist Michigan, so I don't.
I mean, I never listened. I'm not. It's like 20 degrees outside. I'm not keeping my thermostat at 66.
I mean, that's
freezing.
66 is quite a bit warmer than 20. You know, you're
It
going to
is, but
survive
it's still
comfortably.
freezing.
Put on an extra hoodie, Mark. You'll be okay.
No, I don't like. I'm not like you. I don't like the whole layers thing. Apparently, you wear layers in summer.
There's science behind that.
Yeah.
It works. Well, speaking of frigid cold in Canada, what the hell is this? There we go. Has nothing to do with the cold, but it is about the Canada. Canadian authorities are hunting for 2 suspects in a mass stabbing that left 10 dead and 15 injured. Thought we only had mass shootings, and I thought violence was only a problem in the U.S. I thought the Canadians were all polite and nice and respectable and didn't do things like this.
Someone must have swiped some maple syrup. It's the only explanation for this.
Let's see. A manhunt is underway in Canada for 2 armed and dangerous men who are suspects in a mass stabbing that left 10 dead, 15 injured in multiple scenes in an Indigenous community and the surrounding area in Saskatchewan.
I was going to say, these don't look like French Canadians, but they could be Eskimoian Canadians.
According to Leighton, Eskimo is a dirty word. You can't be saying that.
No, my bad. Let me think of a better, more offensive term than Eskimo. I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah, you work on that. So, mass stabbing carried out by people of color. Imagine that. Never see that headline here in the U.S.
No, you usually don't, actually. It's usually hidden somewhere.
Very true. They do. They do tend to suppress that.
It's like prison directories that are full of blacks, but they change their race to white. You just walk through the prison. This doesn't seem to match up with the directory.
Does that really happen?
I saw a story about it the other day.
Man. Why?
I didn't fact check whether it was true or not. I just kind of read the headline and believed it.
Do you think the prison gets more funding for having more white inmates because,
I'm sure
systematic racism, so the white inmates are better taken care of? So if they list the inmates as white, then they get more funding, whereas if they list them as black, they're just like, yeah, fuck them. We're not taking care of them.
I bet that's the case. It's probably a quota thing. That was passed in the aftermath of the Summer of Love.
Probably. Let's see.
Just flying through. But did the article say why they decided to attack 25 people with knives?
No, I didn't see anything that indicated the motive, just that they were looking for these people.
They said this is Eskimo country.
There it is. Why California residents suddenly can't charge their electric vehicles. I knew I had an article for this.
So the power grid or whatever it is that they use to charge their vehicles, is this controlled completely by the California state government? Like, can they just like flip off a switch and be like, whoa?
I think so. I mean, they have experienced rolling blackouts for the last several years. I'm pretty sure they can just decide, okay, at 2:00 today, we're going to turn your power off for 6 hours to conserve the grid.
Wonderful,
isn't it? Welcome to communism. How are you liking it? Not very well, since there's been a mass exodus from California over the last few years.
Yeah. So, go ahead.
I was just like, how did people not understand that, like, this is what you're voting for? Like, this is what you want. You want the government to be in control of everything. You want them to run your entire life. This is what you get. Like, you're going to get mismanagement, and it's going to result in a worse situation for everybody involved. Like, I mean, was the fall of Russia not evident enough that it doesn't fucking work? Like, did nobody? No, I already know the answer to that. No, nobody actually paid attention or did any research on like what actually went on in communist Russia for all of those years.
I don't know, Justin. The human animal is an interesting person. Sometimes they're not persons at all.
The human animal is genuinely fucking retarded, but we're not ending the show on that.
Earlier, you surmised about ending it earlier.
Well, I don't want to. We still got at least one more headline to get to. This one is actually kind of serious, I guess. Bed Bath & Beyond CFO commits suicide by jumping from a New York City skyscraper after announcing massive store closures. So apparently Bed Bath & Beyond is going to be shuttering like 150 stores across the country, and they're experiencing a pretty significant downturn in profits and just businesses going in the tank all the way around, which is kind of a common trend post-COVID for a lot of these like niche kind of stores that sell, you know, dumb shit that people don't actually need.
I don't remember the last time I was in a Bed Bath & Beyond, which I guess kind of goes along.
Yeah,
with this
I know I've driven by one. I know there's one here, but yeah, I don't remember the last time.
What? It was probably for a Christmas present for my mother. Guess I'll have to go somewhere else now. I always got the name mixed up with Bath and Body Works, which I can't go inside those either because just the smell drives me insane. You ever go inside a Bath and Body Works?
I have been drug into a Bath and Body Works a time or two. The smell is quite, what's the pungent?
Pungent. There you go.
I knew I'd get my
like if there were just 3 of the smells, it would probably smell good, but they have all of the smells in there.
See, that's why I like Yankee Candle, because they have the lids on all the candles. So then you can go and you can sniff each individual candle, but the store itself isn't like an overpowering aroma of like everything.
It's basically a melting pot of smells, and that goes to show you that all melting pots are bad.
Yes.
Why do I have all of these weird immigration analogies? First ice cream, now aromas.
Where's Carlos when we need him?
I will say, speaking of candles, perhaps the gayest thing that I do is I always get a fall scented candle once the fall rolls around, because those are my favorite kind.
Which one?
Probably like there was one that I got that was kind of like I think it was like a Belgian pumpkin spice Belgian waffle or something like that.
Wow, I thought it was going to be like only a little bit gay. Like,
no, it was
super gay.
I added like 3 elements of gay in there.
I was gonna say, like, there's one that's like it's like fall leaves or something. I like that.
I should probably go more basic. It's not basic bitch, but just basic. By the real definition of the word this year.
Would you chill the fuck out?
You talking to your dog?
Yes. Do you not see him just like sprinting back and forth? And he's too big and gangly for all of that.
He's excited about fall too.
He is. He's very excited. He is not at all excited about fall. I stood outside with the door wide open the other day, like, hey, come on, you can come outside. And he like looked out the door, and then he went back and hid under the table. Like he did not want anything to do with that. That was not for him.
I like how he did a smooth transition from that guy jumping to his death to talking about fall.
Well, you know,
Didn't even realize it.
Why do we call it fall in the United States instead of autumn?
Why do we call it that?
Yeah.
This is probably wrong, but because the leaves fall off the trees.
Bingo.
Oh, nice.
So I do enjoy the falling leaves fragrance candle or whatever. I'm my basic bitch comes out around Christmas. I like the
Your peppermint mochas.
What's the candle? It's like pine needles. I like that one.
You don't get under the mistletoe.
No, I'm not romantic like that. I'm more woodsy. I want fall leaves and pine needles. I want it to smell like I'm outside.
Do you drink pumpkin spice?
Only if it's the only thing here. Like if I have my choice, I'm not. But if it's in the house, then I will. Mostly just to get rid of it. Like
so, your wife just gets like the creamer or something.
Yeah.
I used to like it. I kind of graduated out of it. It got too sweet for me. Like the stuff that you buy at like a Starbucks and everything. I used to get pumpkin spice, but now it's like much too sweet. So I finally grew into a real man as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, you drink your coffee just straight black, don't you?
Sometimes I put half and half.
I have a creamer. I don't know what it is. I literally just put enough
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
I think this one might be white chocolate. I'm not sure. French vanilla. I literally just put enough that it's not black coffee. Like it's
adds something.
Right. It's not much less than black. But it's pretty close. I'm one of those what is it? The light supremacists, like the light skinned black people.
Okay. You're Thomas Jefferson.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying?
Sally Hemings was basically white.
Speaking of, I watched an very interesting stream. Chaotic Truth. No. What's the name of that channel?
I have no idea.
Yes, Chaotic Truth Live is the channel. It's a black guy that is much more conservative and talks about like he talks shit about Biden and the Democrats and is more or less a MAGA guy. So they did a 5-hour stream last night while I was at work and I was bored as shit and didn't have anything else going on. So I tuned in and watched a significant portion of this, and it was wildly entertaining. And when they got done, one of the guys who was just like going on a tirade, because they did have a couple of like lefties on there who were trying to make the Biden case and stuff. And this one dude was just like, he was belligerently going off on him. It was fucking hilarious. It was, some people didn't like it. They thought it was distracting or whatever, but I was enjoying it. But when they got done, they said he's a light-skinned black guy. And when they got done, they said he was a light supremacist or whatever. And they asked the question to people as everybody was like signing off and like saying their giving their plugs and whatever at the end, because he left about 2/3 of the way through it. And they're like, do you think he would have if he was the ones who were like in charge of making sure that the slaves were doing their job, not like slave master, but
I don't remember the term. I think I know what you're talking about.
Anyway, the one who was like in charge of making sure that they were working and stuff. He was like, if he was that guy, would he have beat the slaves? And everybody was like, oh yeah, absolutely. It was hilarious. I shared the link in the group chat that we're in.
Check it out.
Yeah, you have to go back and check it out. It was pretty fun.
That-
That's it. Overseer. See, Trey was watching it too. He just won't admit it. He was cheering.
Or
for that
Trey's
guy.
just smart.
That could be it. Trey is off work today and probably got plenty of sleep last night. That's why the words come to him.
He's he's got a lot of advantages right now over me, that's for sure. And over you. Did you work last night?
Oh yeah. I literally said I watched it while I was at work last night. So
See, not connecting real well. Speaking of shades of black, though, one of the first like diversity inclusive indoctrination trainings I ever had to take at work. It was like sharing time or whatever, like sitting around in a circle and getting all intimate and gay and stuff. And I can't remember like what the topic was, but one of my black coworkers decided, I think he was like basically just trying to like lighten the mood or whatever, because he starts talking about how his family does like volleyball games and they divide the teams by shades of black. And it was actually kind of funny. We're like laughing, and then this stupid white diversity instructor was like, "Oh, it's just probably really hurtful that you guys have to do that, though." And everyone like looks at him and they're like, "What are you talking about? He's just telling a funny story." And like he took it all serious and was like, "It's white people don't have to do that." And I was like, "Screw that, man! I get put on a different team every time because I have red hair. Like we have our own team."
That's right. There is a special kind of racism that goes on amongst white people.
Yeah, it's called gingerism.
It's what is it that Dag always says? Italian or less, or Italian or worse? That's what.
Italian or worse.
Oh. I was about to jump off onto something else, and now I forgot what it was.
Sorry, went on a rant about old trains.
Oh, we were talking about shades of black.
Oh, we're about to go to 50 Shades of Grey now.
Yes. No. That's funny use of a passing ginger. So that's like it actually ties well into what I was going to talk about. So remember when in the 2020 election, like they were making all this big deal about how Kamala Harris was the first African American vice presidential candidate, or first African American female for vice president, or whatever. It's like, well, number one, she's not actually African American. She's a combination of Jamaican and Indian. And number two, she comes from that rich sect of India, the ones that had the dots on the head and like literally oppressed and beat down all the other Indians. Yeah, that's the part of Indian heritage that she has. And a lot of people don't know it, like, which it seems weird because Bob Marley sang about it a lot, and Marley's super popular. The top caste. So Jamaica was also very much a caste system as well. And the light-skinned Jamaicans were considered passable and could intermingle better with the British, and then all the dark-skinned Jamaicans were basically treated worse than slaves, and a lot of the light-skinned Jamaicans owned slaves in Jamaica back in the day. And I actually believe it was Kamala Harris's great-grandfather was a pretty prominent slave owner in Jamaica. So like she comes from all of those top castes. It's like everything about the
she's just fake all around.
Yeah, everything about like the backstory that's supposed to make her this great diversity hire or whatever, like just a little bit of research into it, and it's like, yeah, maybe that's not the right narrative to run with her.
She started telling the story back in 2020 about, like, during the campaign, about how she was brought to a civil rights march, and she turned to her dad, or her mom, it's probably her mom, and spoke in like a very clear sentence about how she wanted to, I don't know, push forward the agenda of the civil rights march or whatever. But people like did the math, and it was like she would have been like 6 months years old. 6 months years old. Wow, I struggling seriously today. 6 months, not 6 months years. Don't even know what that is.
Yeah, well, that was like
that?
there was that, and there was also the thing where Hillary Clinton had supposedly written the thing to NASA about wanting to be an astronaut. But if you did the math on it, NASA didn't even exist at the time when she supposedly would have written this letter. So, like, yeah, it's like Elizabeth Warren is 1/100,000th Native American. Like, join the club, bitch. That's everybody.
What was it? I saw a funny caption the other day about that movie Hidden Figures, and someone's like, y'all probably should have just stayed hidden. I never saw that movie. I like to watch NASA propaganda.
Speaking of movies, you missed the intro today, and I played this intro specifically for you. It's from a movie from 2015. And hang on, I'm gonna get the name of this right. It's oh damn it, where did it go?
It's riveting television.
Hey, we're on it today. Er ist wieder da, which is German for "Look Who's Back."
Oh yes, I watched this.
Of course you have.
I watched this. I watched this when it came back. That is an entertaining movie. Watch it with captions and everything.
Found a trailer, and it was with the cover of "Rule the World" by Coldplay, and it's like the original clip that I'd seen was like a minute and a half of this trailer where it's the guy who's Hitler, like riding around in a car waving to people, and people are like on the street like waving and giving the.
It is really funny. I highly recommend it. Although they kind of spin it at the end as like, oh, we're this close away from another Hitler or whatever. But I was entertained, but for a different reason than the message they really wanted to convey.
I mean, it looks like it would be entertaining. I got to figure out, or I got to find it so I can watch it. Speaking of how close we are to literally Hitler, according to Rob Reiner, this midterm there is no gray area. You either cast a vote for democracy or fascism. That's it.
When I first saw this tweet, I thought it was Robert Wright, because that's something that he would tweet too. Who is Rob Reiner?
He's a Hollywood something. He's a actor, director, producer. So I don't know. Okay. And he's part of the
probably the
Hollywood pedophile circuit. Filmmaker, actor, producer, and then he also says he's a husband or father, but that's probably a beard.
Yeah. You tweet that out, you basically give up those two things.
It's like, well, if those are the only options, democracy has been proven pretty much a failure across history, and at least in the short term,
not in Chile.
At least in the short term, fascism usually seems to work out all right. Like, it's not one of those, like, you don't want to build your society around it, but if you got some shit going on and you need to get it straightened out, that's usually a pretty good start to setting the path, setting things back on the right path. Now, obviously, it needs to be tempered and should probably be snuffed out relatively quickly, but at least, at the onset, it has some usefulness. So if those are
Trey,
the only options,
earlier was talking about wanting the trains to run on time. So
I just want the trains to run on time. I just want to be able to set my thermostat at whatever I want to set my thermostat at, even though I've set my thermostat at what they want me to. But it's because I want to, not because they said so. Damn it!
Well, you're not. I mean, eventually Taylor Lorenz is going to be our one of our people telling us what to set our thermostat at, and what was hers at 92.
Is that right? I mean, I knew that
didn't
bitch
we
was a
cover
lizard.
this?
I knew that bitch was a lizard person, but good God,
I think it's in the 90s, high 80s. I don't know.
probably.
She just melts at night. She has no soul, anyways. You say I have no soul. Look into her eyes and tell me she has a soul.
What was she doing? She's been making the rounds on the tweeters here lately for something stupid that she said or did. Oh, she went after Libs at TikTok again and just keeps getting owned. Like, you would think she would learn her lesson, but no, she
get fired.
Did she?
I'm thinking of someone else.
Yeah, that was.
Was she the one who docked Libs of TikTok?
Yes.
And by
she's the one that docks Libs of TikTok. You're thinking of the one for the Washington Post that complained about the
bisexual joke.
Yeah, they're every woman is bi. You gotta every woman is bi. You just have to figure out if it's polar or sexual. And the guy had retweeted that, and then some bitch at the Washington Post went ballistic about it. And then she kept going, and so they suspended the guy who did it. And then she just kept being a raging psychopathic bitch until they finally fired her. They were like, "You're a cancer to this office. You got to go." Yeah, that's the one that got fired, not Taylor Lorenz. She's still employed. She's just retarded.
I don't know. Yeah, definitely retarded. Sorry.
Because democracy basically means government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.